Does free agency imitate reality? It is SNL, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. Friday, Spanky's. See you there. Friday, free agent frenzy live at Spanky's. Can hardly wait. The Texans, no activity today, but there are some kind of ties to a position that we've talked about quite a lot. Nick Underhill, who covers the Saints at about as high of a level as you can possibly cover. He says that perhaps the Texans could be in on who?
Foster Moreau, who is a former Raiders and Saints tight end. Moreau's played in the NFL for about 7 years now. Was banged up a little bit when he first got to New Orleans, fought through some injuries, and last year, again, fighting through an injury a little bit. And the Saints had other tight ends that they utilized a lot more, so his stats don't look really impressive. He's never had like a big, amazing season, but with the experience and certainly experience in this style of offense because of his overlap with Josh McDaniels and Jerry Shaplinski in Vegas, he you can connect some of the dots and see how the Texans might be interested in a guy like Moreau. And he's got a little bit more juice to him than Brevin Jordan or Cade Stover, so he'd be tight end too if he was on the team.
Yeah, he actually had cancer a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he went through some cancer stuff and then found his way back with Derek Carr, who got off to a good start in his career with him and then kind of followed him around a little bit. So, look, I said this, as long to pass his physical in this tight end room right here, does he have a pulse? And the answer is yes. So I don't know how good he is. I just know he's definitely, if you have a pulse, there's a chance that you can probably get on the football field behind Dalton Schultz at this point with the current state of the roster.
Well, we learned in the past 24 hours just how important those physicals are.
Yeah, the Max Crosby thing. Yeah, very interesting there. So that's where we're at with the tight end. That's really the biggest news up to this point. On Z Chat.
Swarm.
I knew this was coming. Space City Baller says, agree with Aaron's take on Dixon Mayaz. See what I did there? Not even going to say it. Do I agree with this take? Do I think he's swarm? I don't know. Kyle says Dixon Mayaz could bust. No thanks. So that has been the most attention that the Texans have gotten today has been, and it's probably the highest level that we've seen, the Alpha Aaron. I think most people have seen it at this point.
Hey, bro, Alpha Aaron here.
Alpha talking about a fake prospect, Mr. Mayaz, and I think it's made the rounds quite a lot.
This is an old telephone joke that used to pull on people from like 50 years ago. Be like, yeah, is Mr. Hunt there? Who? Mr. Hunt? What's his first name? Mike? And then the guy will be like, lean over, be like, is Mike here? And then he'll say the whole thing. And it's like, ha, ha, ha. Somebody got Aaron with it. He did the old anchor man. He'll read anything. And then,
well, he acted like he knew the guy, and that's a dangerous territory. And then he said he was swarm.
No, he didn't just say he was swarm. He just said definitely swarm. Definitely swarm, which is how I will be categorizing prospects for the draft in not swarm or definitely swarm. Definitely swarm.
We do I do think it's kind of a dangerous territory that you don't really want to pretend that you know guys that you don't know. I think it's one of those things that I try not to do. Like Dominique Robinson, what was the first thing I said when they signed him? I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, so that, but there's times where like even like Nick Neiman or something like that gets signed and it's like a full breakdown. there's sometimes you just kind of get caught doing that. And my God, did he ever? Jeez, it is. I mean, it's all over. It's insane. Willie Roy Boy on the chat.
Hey, bro. Alpha Aaron here.
Swarm.
He says Alpha Aaron sure is a all caps special reporter. Yes, he is. I will give him credit though. He did get Braden Smith on the Zoom. So Alpha, I think that was probably the best, like to kind of reel in a little bit with Aaron. That was, I would say, probably the best work that anyone on the beat has done, getting Braden Smith on a Zoom call. So we'll give him credit there. It would have been more impressive if we would have gotten my ass, but he did get Braden Smith.
Yeah, I hope he talks to the defensive end from Alabama, Mehoff.
Is his first name Jack?
Oh man, poor Aaron. Did it to himself, but poor Aaron.
Yeah. It's not easy to just go live and keep the comments flowing. You can't read everything, and you gotta keep them flowing. Trucker Cam TX says the Alpha got blasted by Barstool Sports. Crazy.
Yeah, they picked it up and ran with it and had some fun with it. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right about the Braden Smith interview. That's good work by him. It's a good job by him.
All right. So I wanted to go into the upside and downside of each of the Texans signings, but we do have some other news. We do have a release. They've released Mario Edwards Jr. With a failed physical designation per the transaction wire. Your thoughts on Mario Edwards?
Mario Edwards played 15 games last year, but I can't remember like a specific impact that Mario Edwards had. It was a little bit of a surprise that he got a multi-year deal when he did a year ago. And I never really expected him to play the second year if he made it through the first year, which he ultimately ended up on IR and didn't make it through the first year. So I didn't expect him to play the second year. This was sort of expected, and free up about $4 million in cap space for getting rid of him. And they've got options at defensive tackle. Of course, they brought back Sheldon Rankins, and Tommy Togiai is still on this team. There's a couple of young guys, and I expect them to still draft a player or two at defensive tackle. So Mario Edwards, 2 years here. We thought he was really good in training camp. Turns out that the Texans' offensive line was just horrific, and that's why he looked good in training camp and had a solid enough season, moving inside from defensive end, and they brought him back. He had one more season. That was it.
Yeah, I would say that they kept him around too long. I thought it was a nice little 1 year thing, and I was actually surprised that he got another contract. I thought it was weird. I do want to touch on the signing that they made yesterday, though. I really don't have much for you when it comes to Mario Edwards. He was fine. Kind of feels like he was here a little bit too long. But what about the signing of Logan Hall and the upside and downside of this? Because I think this is a very intriguing signing. Dominique Robinson, I don't pretend to have a vision of what his role is, but I think this is almost like potentially Tommy Togiai, the Tommy Togiai formula part 2, where he's a year younger than Tommy Togiai. We saw Tommy Togiai really begin to come into his own last season and on the back end. He has a better body of work at the NFL level than Tommy Togiai does. I don't think he gave them everything that they hoped for when they drafted him in the second round. But he can play inside. He can play outside. It's kind of like Jason Pierre-Paul type of thing. And maybe if they can sprinkle some of that Togiai magic dust, I think there's a decent amount of upside and not much risk in this signing of Logan Hall.
I really like Hall. It's been available for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and played quite a bit for them over the past 4 seasons. So he's only missed a handful of games, like I think a couple of games in his 4 years with the Buccaneers. So you think about some of these guys that have had injury histories or some of these older players that they've had around the defensive line, Mario Edwards, Danico Autry, to specifically point to those guys. It's a much younger player, as you mentioned. He'll turn 26 this year and has played a lot and played in a 3-4 defense. So he's going to be moving to a 4-3 defense with the Texans, obviously. The Texans rotate guys. He's probably, because of his 3-4 background, got the ability to bump inside in this this style of defense. So it just gives you a versatile body, and it goes along with most of their defensive signings. If DeMeco Ryans identified this guy and decided, hey, Rod Wright's going to coach him up and he's going to be a rotational piece for our defensive line, I believe in him. And they really didn't spend that much money on him either. I thought when I first saw the numbers, it was a lot bigger than it actually was. So I thought this was a really nice signing. And for as much as they use the depth and the rotation at defensive end, I like this signing.
Yeah, I think this is a good one that could go a number of ways, and I like that they're at least trusting themselves instead of just bringing it back and running it back, which was something I talked about with the speed and the Rankin signing, where you're kicking the tires on someone that's younger that perhaps can give you more upside, and a little bit younger player. So I like that they're at least keeping that skill that they possess open. I don't believe that. Now, he's got a 2-year deal, so his contract expires at the same time as Danielle Hunter's. I don't believe that he would be like a 1-for-1 replacement to Danielle Hunter, but is there a scenario where Hall plays well enough over the next 2 seasons that as Hunter's leaving, you're like, hey, let's keep him, give him the crack at that starting spot opposite Will Anderson? I think that exists as a possibility, especially if he got better with this coaching staff. Damn, you're real high on this. I think
I'm not saying giving him Danielle's money. That's I think.
I know.
But him being the veteran that gets the first crack at the spot opposite Will.
I don't know. That's 2 years away. I want to see what he's got. Eventually they're going to have to get to a point where they're going to have to look vet or someone young in that Hunter role. That's inevitable. But yeah, whether or not this guy can be the guy, I don't know. I just think he could. And as far as like that's a hell of an upside for you, him being the Danielle Hunter replacement.
That's the best case scenario.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm even entertaining that possibility. I think him being what they hoped Danico Autry would be the upside for me, and being more available than Danico Autry. That's how I would look at it. The Danico Autry thing where they paid him 8 figures or whatever it was,
$20 million for 2 years.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised he stayed around last year. Like that was actually a little bit surprising, even though we did see a couple of good things from him and a couple of good performances. I look at this guy as perhaps a guy that can provide you with consistent presence of what they hoped Danico Autry would bring. And quite frankly, what even in the best case scenario, Danico Autry would have been capable of bringing at a consistent level at that point of where his age and body were.
Here's what I want out of Logan Hall. Just definitively be the 3rd best defensive end on this team for the next 2 seasons. Just definitively be that. Like don't even leave a question. The guy that's the 4th best isn't anywhere close to you. Definitively be the 3rd best defensive end. That's what I want out of him in the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and we'll see where he does line up. Brandon Hollum says he's a DT, not a DE. He plays both. And it's kind of like Danico Autry. They said he was going to play inside, and that really didn't happen a ton. Zombie Ate My Brawl says news is out about us getting the Saints tight end. We talked about that. Foster Moreau. Again, you have a pulse. You can probably play behind Dalton Schultz at this point.
Yeah, and again, that's just Nick Underhill saying the Texans had talked with Foster Moreau. Underhill covers the Saints, so and reliable reporters. So just because they talked to him, mean they're going to get him, but obviously the relationship with McDaniels and familiarity with this style of offense, it's a positive for him in the free agent tight end profile.
Can he bail hay though? It is SNL, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots here with you, talking about the upside and downside of the Texans signings. David Montgomery. Now, this was a trade, obviously, but what is the best case and worst case scenario for David Montgomery?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's official. Foster Moreau's a tight end for the Texans now.
Okay, so there we go. So
he and Rappaport.
Okay, so it has happened. So Nick Underhill was right.
Yeah, so Rappaport with the news here.
Okay, so your thoughts?
He's better than Cade Stover and Brevin Jordan right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really, yeah. I mean, that's really it. It's a low ball.
Apologies, Zombie. We're doing a show, so we don't catch it as it always happens. We'll catch it as much as we can.
Good assist to him, though.
Yeah.
So yeah,
appreciate it, Gary Payton.
We've kind of broken it. We've kind of broken it down. There we go. Foster Moreau. here.
Cool name.
He was really good early on, but not hard to get on the field.
Well,
get on the field.
Just get back from just come in, get healthy, and you'll have an opportunity to make this team.
Yeah. And they obviously have some things. So now you can kind of swing for the fences at tight end too. I still think you draft a young guy, but now you can kind of swing for the fences. If that means Eli Stowers or something like that, like you can kind of swing for the fences because this guy was at his best pretty capable of blocking. So there you go. Maybe he comes in and he's not much different than Harrison Bryant, but again, it doesn't take much to get on the field within this tight end room. You hate Harrison Bryant.
He was useless. He was only on the field because nobody else could stay healthy. They didn't even like Harrison Bryant. They had 2 tight ends on the roster when the season started.
Yep. So Rappaport has the Foster Moreau signing. He had it at 4:33. Look at that. Ian Rappaport. And I knew that Adam Schefter wasn't getting it after he told yesterday.
Had that BS about King Birdie says no more Sam Roush. Not the case at all. Not the case. Foster Moreau does not keep you from drafting a tight end if you really like one. Sam Roush, of course, the Stanford tight end that
that doesn't stop that at all.
We're big fans of. And Roush too, like Moreau's blocking success in his past is more about pass blocking. Just looking at snapshot according to Pro Football Focus, but Roush is an all around blocker, so still could improve the blocking.
I don't remember hearing Moreau really even talk before, so there you go. Here's the Rappaport tweet. Right, look at this right here. Look at this beauty right here. Ian Rappaport right there. Let's check that time. 4:33. Ian Rappaport. Texans are signing former Saints tight end Foster Moreau. Check the alpha.
Oh, come on. What are you doing?
What are you talking about? I'm just seeing what the alpha had. He said that, 438. He says Texans plan to sign tight end Foster Moreau per league source of 438. So, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Tight end. What?
Hadn't he had a rough enough 24 hours?
Right. I was just looking at it. Sometimes it be like that, man. We always just try to credit where it goes. He said per league source. Tie goes to who has it at the right time. Sometimes if it's like within a minute, it's like the agent sent the same thing. But sometimes it'd be like that. Why are you throwing me under the bus on this?
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. You're the one that's placing Alpha Aaron back on the ground so another bus can run over him.
Come on. All right. So the upside of David Montgomery. Serviceable committee back, beyond serviceable committee back, is what I look at. Maybe like 1,000-yard rusher type of guy. Compliment to Woody Marks is the high upside. The downside, it's not Nick Chubb, but it could be, some maybe not David Johnson, but maybe like a step above. I don't know. I don't know what the running backs can break down at crazy times. But I think the good news is I don't think they're expecting him to carry some heavy load, but he's kind of a committee back at this point.
He pairs really well with Woody Marks' skill set. They have good overlap with what they both do well. And it's a pretty good committee for them to be in. It's going to be, he obviously wasn't the lead back in Detroit. He's going to be in the way I look at it, he's going to be the guy that's going to get the majority of the initial carries in this running back tandem, and then Woody's going to kind of fill in with him. The downside would be if he got hurt, if like injuries finally showed up. He's been fairly durable in his career. That'd be the downside. And then I guess if maybe just Father Time takes the toll and some of that short yardage success is just a little bit less than it has been, because maybe he's just second slower, or he sees something just a little bit less fast. I guess that'd be the downside. It's like 700, 800 yards, and then Woody's closer to him than we thought he was. Because I would think Montgomery's got a pretty good gap between what we think he is, what we think Woody is right now. If Woody was a little bit closer because Montgomery wasn't as good, that'd be the downside.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take away from David Montgomery's skill. I think it's something that they could use in the red zone. He was running behind a little bit of a different offensive line, though. So I think that would be fair to at least.
Oh, hold on. Braden Smith's not Penei Sewell?
Let's get to Braden Smith. So the Braden Smith thing, you were really kind of a little bit irked by the possibility of him playing guard yesterday.
Still am.
Let's look at this and talk about it now. Let's break down the Braden Smith situation the day after. And I have a thought that I want to throw your way afterwards as we talk about the upside and downside of Braden Smith.
Yeah, he's been a successful right tackle in the NFL for 8 years. I would just play him at right tackle and have Trent Brown be an excellent backup for this team. When Trent Brown got re-signed, if Trent had to start, I didn't like the signing as much. If Trent was the top backup for this team, I liked it a lot more. Okay. If you got to play 20 games to win a Super Bowl, can I get 20 games out of Braden Smith and Trent Brown together at right tackle? I absolutely feel like I can. So that would be my thought process, is play Braden Smith at right tackle, Trent's his backup, and let's see what happens. And if some of the durability stuff that's popped up the past 3 seasons with Braden Smith shows up, well, good. You got a good backup that you liked last year in Trent Brown. That's what I would do.
He didn't dismiss anything in his interview with the Alpha. He didn't dismiss like any possibility of
moving inside,
but he just basically said he'd do what the coaches said he was going to do. My thing is, sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, and sometimes you just see guys move around. So I wonder if like the Titus role is kind of a new thing for King Cole.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
In other words, Titus's ability to be able to play guard and then left guard and then bounce to the right tackle is something that they saw the value in, and maybe they're getting a cheaper, perhaps even better version of it in emergency situations. I do agree with you that if this is plan A when it comes to left guard, they're fucking stupid. Like that's actually kind of crazy if this is plan A. But I do think maybe like the versatility and the past experience, although it wasn't on the left side, I do think that perhaps you and anyone throwing out the notion that he could play guard, that maybe that can't just be easily dismissed. So maybe they saw what Titus Howard could do and they kind of envisioned that. With that said, we still thought that they needed a right tackle even with Trent Brown. Like the notion that Blake Fisher is competing for a starting spot, or that you feel comfortable with Blake Fisher being your insurance policy behind someone that you think will inevitably miss games in Trent Brown, I think that's asinine. And this being plan A at left guard would be asinine as well. But I will not dismiss the possibility of that at least being thought about when it comes to potentially an emergency situation. And go ahead and calm down. Perhaps them playing the best 5 in certain situations.
Yeah, they just don't deserve the benefit of the doubt on that type of move.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what we talk about on the defense.
They deserve every element of skepticism if they take a guy who was a productive and serviceable right tackle and try to have him play a position that he's not played in the past decade and a half.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The other thing that I thought was weird about this whole thing is, number one, whether it's an educated guess or just throwing it out there, I don't have any problem with Lance throwing it out there. I think it's cool. Like that's the beauty of the offseason. So that's where we're at, and we'll see what they think about when it comes to what they end up doing with Braden Smith. If an emergency calls for it, maybe there is a scenario where he plays left guard, or maybe they're really feeling themselves and they want to take on that project, whatever. But the weird thing that I thought about it with Lance was that he mentioned that he had short arms. It's like, I mean, that's something you say heading into the draft, not 8 years after the guy has established himself as a right tackle where it's not an issue. I think it's obviously an issue heading in, but it's like saying that a receiver doesn't have speed and then he goes out there and for 8 years he's productive. It's like, why are you bringing that up now?
Yeah, and The hilarious part too, because I went back and read Lance's pre-draft evaluation. Lance even said he's a guy that could kick outside in the pre-draft evaluation. Like, that's a guy that might have the ability to kick outside. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think y'all may both end up being right on that, but maybe the tightest role is a thing. We'll see what it looks like. Let's talk about the upside and the downside of Braden Smith in a sec. First though, let's go to Z Chat.
Swarm.
Traveling through with Malik says Alpha reporting first on Logan signing. He says reporting wrong numbers. Check that on the stream. LOL. Also, Braden signing is good, whether he plays RT or LG. Yeah, I don't think any of us bringing in more bodies on the offensive line, not a terrible thing. And they're obviously still open, I think, to bringing in a left guard and a center and all that. So, yeah, I don't think you're sitting here saying it's a terrible signing. You just think that there's better ways to maximize that signing.
Yeah, if he's playing at left guard, why didn't you sign somebody who played left guard? That would have been my element of it, and they typically haven't moved guys inside when other people thought they should go inside. Now maybe that would have helped Blake Fisher. He didn't make it at right tackle, but Ursery was more than capable at left tackle, and a lot of people believed he should have gone inside during the draft process a year ago, and he worked out fine. And yeah, the Alpha sometimes gets moving pretty quick. And
so what is he talking about first on Logan signing?
I guess he's saying that he had Hall first last night.
Oh, okay.
But maybe got the numbers wrong when he started to tweet the numbers out.
You had it before rap?
I don't know. I'm not really time checking.
Yeah, until you are. So the upside downside of Braden Smith. Upside is he's your starting right tackle and he's serviceable and he plays well.
Yeah, he gives you close to what he gave Indianapolis, which is their starting right tackle without question every year. That'd be the upside.
Yeah, that's really it. And then the downside is he's washed up, he's not good, and he's just kind of there.
Yeah, the downside would be if the durability stuff that's popped up the past couple of years, because he had a knee and a hip injury a few years ago, and then last year it was the neck and a concussion issue that ended his season, and that would be one of the worries. And then, if you moved into a position he doesn't play and he played poorly, that'd be bad too.
Yeah, that would be really, 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 really bad. Reed Blankenship. Break down the upside of Reed Blankenship, and then we'll talk about the floor with Blankenship.
I feel like this is just a extremely steady and trustworthy defensive player if he hits his upside. It just what they want out of that position on the defense is do exactly what the defense calls for and do it well every time. And Blankenship absolutely can fulfill that. He could come up and be physical in the run game. He can go out there and make some plays in the passing game. I don't think you're going to end up with him in one-on-one man coverage a whole bunch and feel awesome about it, but he can certainly hold his own here and there and really just fit in where you get in. You're not going to be asked to do amazing things from that spot. Just go do exactly what you're supposed to do and what they need out of that spot on the defense and do it well every time. And that's the upside for Blankenship, is that he's that guy. Yeah,
I think Blankenship is I think he could do a hell of a lot for this defense. I think an absolute playmaker, a guy that plays good with good players around him. Seems like a smart player, leadership, basically what they wanted from CJ Gardner-Johnson and what they liked that they had with Jimmy Ward. Downside, I really don't see a ton because I think he's going to be serviceable at worst. And I don't see like a ton of downside on this. It's not like you're paying him a crap ton of money. So as far as the downside on this, I just don't see it. I think his surroundings are favorable, and I think his skill set is favorable to what they want from that position.
I think of any player they've added, he has the highest floor, just because I can't see many scenarios where he's failing if he's on the field. Like, obviously, everybody sucks if they can't get on the field because they're hurt. Like, that's obviously an outcome. He doesn't have any sort of durability concerns in his past, like some of the other guys that have changed teams. Like, I can't see very many scenarios where he's failing if he is playing down in, down out for this Texans team.
Yes, I would agree. By the way, Ian Rappaport had Hall at 744. Just so you know, that was 25, 30 minutes before, if we're being completely honest. I had to check that just to fact check. We put it out there. I wanted to fact check it. Ian was way up.
We did not. Somebody in the chat did.
Yeah. I just wanted to sort of correct that. Ian was he was probably like 25 minutes up there. Although Aaron, the Alpha, did talk to him. Alpha's been talking to all these guys. He's been doing a good job working the agent back channels. There is no doubt about that.
Let me guess. The guy who played his football at UH is happy to be back in Houston.
Yeah, someone said he was a Houston native, and I'm like, dude, he's from Belton. that's like closer to Waco and Austin. Like
Houston native's a little much.
Yeah, he was here for a few years, but yeah, Houston native, no, that would not be that. All right, upside, downside of Dominic Robinson, I got nothing. Makes the team would be the upside. Maybe a better player than or on the same par with Dylan Horton would be like the ultimate upside for me. Downside, doesn't make the team.
Well said. I have nothing I can add to that.
I don't know if it's Kroger or Kruger. We'll learn this, but they got a punter. He didn't punt very well last year.
By the way, yesterday on the show when I said, didn't the Texans have him for a second? He got the rookie tryout last year.
Yeah, and Cap actually went back and looked at my tweet where I was talking about him. Dude, he was actually freaking booming it in that practice. Like, and I had actually said that, like, Texans Cap, I guess he searched and checked it out. He was just seeing what was said. But yeah, he was there. It was at the mini camp. And he was actually booming it, if I'm being honest. Now, he didn't do that in games last year, but he was actually booming it. So that must be, to answer the question of what is Frank Ross thinking, that practice must have he must have remembered what we'll call him KK, what he was doing.
We're in here talking about practice.
Yeah, this is KK's ranks on the left and Tommy Townsend on the right. So average 28th for KK, 16th for Townsend. Net 30th for KK, 16th for Townsend. Inside the 20, 27th for KK, 3rd for Tommy Townsend.
So there you go. Let's see.
Now,
lefty.
Somebody who watches a lot of Saints football reached out to me and said, "Hey, I saw your tweet. Yeah, he didn't perform well last year. I think that was a lot about the Saints and not as much about him." And thought that he had probably some things that the Texans would value in their punter, and thought that with the Texans coverage unit, he'd be much better than what the Saints put out on the field around him. So take that for what it's worth. The results last year were not good. I'm more of a results-oriented guy than potential guy when it comes to a little bit of a flyer like this. And I certainly wouldn't have this keep me from drafting the Aussie in the 7th round if the Texans wanted to go get the reigning Ray Guy Award winner Brett Thorson from Georgia.
Did that guy who broke down the punting thing, did he have a scouting report of Myaz too?
No.
Not? Yeah. He's in that same territory with that. Upside, downside of Jake Hummel.
I mean, the upside is number one special teamer, isn't it? Like the number one, like, I'm not talking about like personal, like the number one tackling special team guy, like the guy that they have kind of like rally the troops for special teams and go down there and make plays. Like, isn't that the upside?
It's going to be the battle of the Jakes. Jake Hansen versus Jake Hummel. How does Jake Hansen come back from that injury, and what does Jake Hummel look like? It's going to be all special teams. That's all. Like, you're just going to have to watch every special teams rep. Like in camp, you're just going to have to watch every Jake Hummel special teams rep, because he's definitely not playing his way onto the field on defense. So I think it's a couple of things. Like, yeah, he makes the team, and he's a consistent special teamer. I would agree. I would agree with you on that. That's really kind of where that is. I don't know what he's capable of and what he's not capable of, so we'll see. But this just seems like one of those. We'll see. Special teamer, nothing major.
I believe I'm just double checking here. I think the downside is he's Nick Neiman. There, just to get that out of the way.
Damn sure not that. They're not giving him $4 million.
Well, brought in to be a special teamer, and all of a sudden,
Yeah. The Hummels and the Robinsons are not guaranteed to make this team. Really, like outside of Smith, Hall, Montgomery, there's really like there's the downside of any of the other guys could be Blankenship. The downside of any of the other guys could be they don't make the squad. Right?
Correct. Yeah. Like even Naquan Jones, he did not get a contract where it's like, oh, Naquan Jones absolutely going to be in the defensive tackle room. No.
So
by the way, just Kruger. Kai Kruger.
Okay. So I'll call him Kruger. Okay.
That's what the internet says.
Are Derek Barnett and Autry gone? That means they're done. Like, are we done? Are we done around here with Derek Barnett?
I would take Derek Barnett back on this team.
If not, what a hell of a contribution he made, man. Like what an awesome contribution that guy made. Coming in the middle of the season, big game against the Tennessee Titans with Case Keenum starting, extended, battling, making plays, extended, battling, making plays. Salute to you, Derek Barnett. Former first-round pick, probably made close to $10 million here. Doesn't strike me as a guy that's a crazy spender. And good for him, man. I always enjoyed that grumpy-ass old man's presence.
The best was he scored in Dallas, and everybody tried to catch him before he could leave the locker room in Dallas. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk after a good game. He didn't want to talk after a bad game. He didn't want to talk.
I respect him because there's some guys who want to talk after a good game, and then after a bad game, they got nothing to say. Ty's hard. But Derek Barnett, like, he just doesn't want to talk no matter what. Same thing with Stingley, honestly. Like, Stingley will do it, but like the Derek Stingleys and the Derek Barnett, maybe it's a Derek thing. But like, they don't want to talk no matter what. And then there's some guys who want to talk and then they don't. Like Dalton Schultz, let's just be honest. He doesn't want to. If you just never talk to Dalton Schultz, he's cool with it.
Correct.
Like he's cool with it. But there are some guys who they want to talk when something awesome happens, and then they don't. Larry Tunsil, and then they don't want to when bad stuff goes down. Joe Mason. But yeah, sometimes it happens.
That was only one time with Joe, to be fair.
Yeah, and it was a bad game. It was the Netflix. It was the Cal and Hannah waving in the convertible with Beyonce on the field. Yeah, Joe was always a good quote. I was just kidding about Joe, but apparently there was some drama with that one. Some people were not happy with that. Speaking Stephon Diggs, some people were not happy with that. Now that's a real one.
Yeah. Diggs didn't want to talk ever unless he had something fun or cool to say.
But yeah, Barnett just a hell of a signing.
I would take Barnett back if they wanted to bring him back.
Yeah, I don't know how much he has left. But who knows? Yeah, why not? Danico Autry, I think that was a buzz. I think that was a flop. I know there was some, like, the highs were high. There was one game where he was just an absolute beast. I forget which one it was. I think he had a couple of sacks, and then there was a blocked field goal and stuff. But I think for what you paid Danico Autry, I think that was just kind of blah. It wasn't what they envisioned.
He had 11.5 sacks the year before he got here. He had 6 sacks in 2 seasons.
Yeah, and he got popped for peds.
Correct. And he'd played 29 games the previous 2 years. He played 22 games for you.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of a different tales, like Fonley, Derek Barnett, Danico Autry. Props to him for trying to get out there. Because I think his body could probably use some rest, but yeah, we hardly knew you guys. Shout out to you, the vets.
I mean, Danico Autry's going to turn 36 this year. I got to imagine he's pretty close to hanging it up.
Swarm.
That Fort Worth guy. Shout out to that Fort Worth guy. He says, when is Dare 1-year deal being announced?
Stop it. Stop it. But it could be as late as April, by the way.
Tomorrow.
That's what they did 2 years ago.
Tomorrow, maybe.
You cut that out, that Fort Worth guy.
Man. Frank Ross is going to be beside himself.
Frank Ross will never beat the crying when Dare was a captain.
He's not going to be able to. He might not be able to coach. It might be in the market for a new special teams coach once Dare is gone.
Oh, come on. Frank can't keep it going because Dare is gone.
By the way, Dare Gambawale, very underrated, funny guy.
Yeah.
Very underrated, funny guy. I will say. How would Dare be looked at if he never had that Tampa Bay game?
I would think most people would hold the opinion that you have on him.
That he's the ultimate overachiever and he deserves credit for that?
And he probably shouldn't have been a factor in the running back room for the past couple of years.
Well, if you want to put it that way.
Swarm.
Stacy Lincoln says 3 predictions. Okay, we got 3 predictions.
Okay.
Number one. Texans will be a top 3 defense if healthy. I think
really out on a limb there.
2.
Number 2.
Texans will use a top 4 pick on a DT.
I like that. I'm in favor of that.
Number 3, they will trade up or trade down on draft day within the top 4 picks. What do they mean?
He's saying they use either 28, 38.
Might be a she, Cody.
59 or 69.
It might be a she.
I thought I said they.
No, you said he, I think. He's saying.
He, she, they, this person.
Wow.
This person.
Wow.
However they decide to identify.
Wow.
Is saying that either 28 or 38 or 59 or 69 would go up or down.
Okay.
I actually, with the fact that the Cardinals GM and Nick Caserio have worked a deal before, they know each other. Monty Ossenforth, the general manager in Arizona.
How's he still there?
They never fired GMs. Steve Keim got a DUI at a DUI checkpoint, got to keep his job. They never fire their GM in Arizona. They're cheap. They don't want to pay him out. And the fact they've worked a deal before, if the Cardinals like Ty Simpson, 28 is a natural spot to jump from their pick at the top of the second round and jump to where the Texans are and draft the Alabama quarterback if they like him. Ty Simpson. And the Cardinals have 34. So if you could move back a handful of spots, pick up a little bit extra, maybe something in the future, doesn't necessarily have to be in this year's draft. It could be next year's draft. And Cardinals get a quarterback that you wouldn't have taken. Only a handful of players come off the board before you pick. Certainly not a bad idea. If they wanted to work that trade, it's not going to hurt my feelings.
It's damn near a dream scenario, for being honest.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you could get. Let me just see what else the Cardinals have.
No, because if you do that, then you're still gonna have at least 4 in the top 70, and then you're probably gonna have 5 in the top. 5 or 6 in the top 100. So
yeah, I would do that move. I would do that move if they send 34 and 65 and the Texans send 28 and
nothing.
That's it.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah.
Make them pay the QB tax, damn it.
Well, that's not even a QB tax. That's trading back 6 spots and you give us something there and you get your QB. So yeah, that would be great. And then maybe you can swing for the fences with like Eli Stowers. Like I have like this vision. Yesterday I laid it out. And by the way, for just tuning in, Foster Moreau is a Texan. So they've added to the tight end room. But I had this vision of like Eli Stowers just running down the middle of the defense, like with his just athleticism, and Dalton Schultz running the short route, and then Nico and Higgins and Noel doing their thing. I just had this vision of Eli Stowers just kind of getting you like a little hybrid, little nice little weapon to throw in there.
I mean, I don't know why. I know that the body type is different, but it felt like the way this offense preferred to use Aaron Hernandez was receiver forward. There's room for a receiver forward tight end like Eli Stowers, who I don't think has much that he can offer from a blocking standpoint, hardly at all, but he could be a really good pass catcher. Like, there should be room in this type of offense for a player like Eli Stowers, the tight end out of Vanderbilt. Like, Eli Stowers is a better football player than some of the wide receivers that got drafted in the second round last year.
There you go. Yeah.
Like, Eli Stowers is better at football than Jack Besh is. Jack Besh was a second round pick last year, wide receiver for the Raiders.
Eli Stowers is just a ball player, man. I mean, he made Diego Pavia. I'll put it this way. I'll give you an analogy in a second. Stacy, by the way, is a dude, so you were right.
There you go, Stacy.
So Cody's very pronoun friendly. I think Cody still has his pronouns in his Twitter profile, if I'm not mistaken.
They can't still be there because they were never there.
Dietology says, who has to be there at 28 for you not to trade down? Pregnon, I would be down with.
Oh, I'd trade down to Pregnon's there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Vega Ioane, the Penn State guard, he's not going to be there, but if he was there, I wouldn't trade down. I wouldn't trade down if Sadiq was there.
Yeah. McDonald. I like McDonald.
I'd trade down.
I like McDonald. He's good. Yeah. I mean, it's not like too crazy. So yeah, there's nothing.
I think the list is probably 3 players max.
Let me give you an analogy here. You ready for this?
I'm going to write down what I think you're going to say. I'm going to write down what I think you're going to say, and then I'll show the people.
And you're going to be wrong.
Okay. I'm ready. Give me your analogy.
Okay. Who does Diego Pavia compare himself to, and who does he use as a mentor?
Johnny Manziel.
He uses Johnny Manziel. I think Eli Stowers might be Diego Pavia's Mike Evans. Yes.
Told you. I had the same thought this morning when I was thinking about it.
Yes. Great minds think alike. I think Eli Stowers, I'm going to tweet this right now. I think Eli Stowers might be.
Look at this. Could that have been any more in tune?
That's crazy.
I can't believe you didn't think I was going to get that, because I knew exactly where you were going when you talked about how good Stowers was.
Yes. I think Stowers is going to be really, really good. And I think that there's a chance that he was the reason why Diego Pavia was Diego Pavia. So when would you take Stowers would be my question. How soon is too soon when it comes to Stowers?
I'll take him at 38. I'm not the Texans have done a good enough job adding to their roster that if I was Nick Caserio, and even me, Cody Stoots, if I just took over as GM tomorrow, I would not feel like I'm boxed into a certain position. I don't feel like I would be boxed into I have to do this or I have to do that. They felt very boxed in last year. Have to get wide receiver, have to get offensive lineman. Well, that's exactly what they did with their first 2 picks. And they had to move around to go and get Ursary. I would take him at 38. I mean, if Mason Taylor and Terrence Ferguson and Elijah Arroyo can go at 42, 46, and 50, Eli Stowers could absolutely go 38 in the 40s. Absolutely.
Yes.
Those were the second round tight ends last year. Taylor, Ferguson, and Arroyo. All of them kind of sucked, actually. They didn't put Ferguson on the field that much. Arroyo didn't get on the field that much. And then Taylor was banged up. I still like Taylor. I still think there's something there.
I can't wait to see where Stowers goes.
I mean, is it out of the question that
I think he could be one of those guys that goes in the late first.
Oh, Denver?
I could just see it.
New England?
There's a vision, man. There's a vision.
Denver and New England could use him. Kansas City could use him at 29.
Yep.
Yeah, 29, 30, and 31 would all be Stowers spots. Got to think the Jets, Cardinals, and Raiders are probably out. Titans at 35?
He's a local guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a local guy. They got they're trying to get as many weapons as possible. Although last year they took Helm, and Helm's a good player. He's not really known for blocking. So do they want you get in the conversation about
Well, they just added the Bellinger cat from the Giants.
yeah. They probably don't need a tight end.
The Giants added okay, so it really kind of it's setting up here a little bit for if he gets past Denver, New England, Kansas City, you would think those other teams don't really need him. Hey, he's there at 38. Pull the trigger. Do it.
That athleticism, man.
Cleveland's not going to draft him. They got Harold Fannin.
Maybe they want to go too tight. They got to replace Njoku. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? He's gonna be fascinating. I don't know that he's there at 38. So, yeah, and Texans probably be going guard. Who knows? You never know with them.
Or they could do the what'd you call it? The CJ and Will thing. You draft like the guy you're supposed to draft at 28 and then move up from 38 to go get the guy that you really wanted.
No, I like your Arizona. I think the Arizona thing would be a dream where you kick the tires on Simpson and then you just get an extra third to move back. What is it? 6 spots?
Yeah. I mean, you would then be picking 34, 38, 59, 65, and 69. You had a lot of capable depth and potential day one helpers with those picks.
Yep.
A lot. And if you felt like you kind of, we've actually you could maybe roll one of those picks into something in the 2027 draft, which is supposed to be even better than this year's draft.
Do you think they sign anyone else this week? We good on that? I am glad that they at least brought in a tight end body. This is more of a Harrison Bryant than Cade Stover thing, though, right?
What do you mean?
Like, is that the caliber of player that we're talking about with Moreau? Like, is this like he's kind of the replacement of Moreau? Is he?
I mean, I feel like his skill set is that if the first two tight ends are Schultz and Moreau, you probably still need a more blocking forward guy.
Maybe 2.
And so I would think Moreau I would tell you his addition is a danger to both Stover and Brevin Jordan. And it's not necessarily specifically one or the other.
Yeah, you just need pulses. So there we go. Mock draft. We'll do the first mock draft this Friday. We'll do the first mock draft. First SNL mock draft this Friday.
This Friday.
Yeah. And Stowers will be he'll be very high up on this side of the board. Now, Cody, I don't know. We're gonna have to debate between I won't say it. Stowers and other tight ends. Real ones.
Oh, real tight ends. I like Stowers more than any tight end in this draft than Kenyon Sadiq. He's just not going to give you anything on blocking, which is fine for me. I don't give a damn.
Sadiq going top 15, right?
I was trying to figure out the other day what the lowest, where's the lowest he would go?
Chiefs.
At 9?
Yeah, Chiefs. When you have two, you can swing on one. When you have 2 ones, you can swing.
I thought the lowest he would go would be
Rams like to run 2 tight ends a lot.
I would think the lowest he would go would be 19 to Carolina.
Because what the Rams did is they eliminated the need to have to draft a corner.
Correct, because they traded for one and then sideboard.
What do they need? I mean, I guess they could use a little bit of youth on the O-line, but
they need a right tackle is what they need.
Yeah, but I mean, they can do whatever they want to do at this point.
They've got 2 tight ends already.
Yeah. Well, they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. They could get creative with it. who knows? It's going to be a fascinating.
Yeah. I think 19 is the lowest I'd see Sadiq going.
Well, at that point, you got to wonder. I don't know what the pressing need is. I would just love to be a fly on the wall and hear what their
Evaluation of Kenyon Sadiq is.
Yeah, I like the areas they've addressed, though. They've addressed the areas that they really need to outside of left guard. So,
yeah, if I was trying to put together the two deep, I would say that they don't have someone who's starter at left guard quality.
now this does kind of have and the reason that I did the exercise of upside downside with the prospects, and you can kind of see the thumbnail where I said 50% all in. When you talk about the defensive guys, you have all this confidence, and then the offense, it's like, it's kind of a mirror image proportional to the reality of life with D'Amico Ryans and life with Nick Caserio and where they're at.
Yeah, because they don't deserve any benefit of the doubt with how they've operated on offense and the lack of success that they have had. And then over on defense, tons of benefit of the doubt over there.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, Spanky's on Friday. We'll see you there. It's going to be a good time.
Landry has promised a mock draft.
Promised him. I don't know if I promise. I just
you said we will do a mock draft Friday. That's a promise.
Swarm.
It depends how you look at it. Paulie Young 3433 says all we need is Matthew Hibner for tight end in the 5th. He's talking about the kid out of now. I know who he is. The kid out of SMU by way of Michigan.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hibner is getting drafted in the 5th round.
Yeah, I think he's late. He was kind of forced out with all the Michigan tight ends. Like you look at all the Michigan tight ends that we've seen, he's kind of that guy. I don't love Hibner, but I don't hate Hibner.
He was sort of they had another tight end at SMU that was pretty good and was kind of the pass catcher type of guy for SMU last year. And Hibner was more of the complete tight end, could block a little bit. But he had that money quote when I talked to him at the combine. I can't wait to be back on special teams.
Oh, they'll eat that up.
I was like, well, you're gonna be the belle of the ball if you say that in the meetings.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be back on special. He also played a little bit of fullback at Michigan too. So
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, there we go. Anything else that we would like to add today on this very slow day?
I think that's all I got. I mean, I don't think they're going to add much this week if there's anything left. I mean, didn't Cam Robinson come like a week after free agency started? So, after that first and second wave, and then, moves become official and you get kind of a better sense of things now, sometimes they sneak a move in. So I wouldn't put it fully past them adding somebody Thursday, Friday, but it feels like most of the work's been done.
Yep. It's been done. It's been set up. Left guard, the only pressing need. The lineup card has been filled, and Spanky's will be very fun on Friday. Go ahead and order. Give me your order at Spanky's right now. Go ahead.
I'm going to go half barbecue chicken pizza, half classic pepperoni. And I'm probably going to do the thin crust version. And I'm going to warm up some wings.
There you go. Warm up with the wings and that. I'm gonna get the I'm gonna jack 2 of your wings, and then I'm gonna go personal pizza, thin crust, extra cheese, sausage, mushroom, pepperoni. And then we're on standby when it comes to something else, adding a little something else. But I just ate, so I'm not as hungry as I'll be when I get there. So
they
go to the grocery store when you're hungry and you're like,
everything looks good.
$200, man. I didn't play on even for lettuce. I'd spent $250.
Spanky's put on their Instagram today a new version. They've got a new version of their chicken Caesar wrap. They've got a grilled chicken Caesar wrap now.
Ooh, I might be down with that.
Light, fresh, and classic. The new chicken Caesar wrap is here with grilled chicken.
All right. Well, there you go. Might have to get down on that. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. Be sure to always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
What was that guy's name again?
I'm not saying it. My ass.